Well, I've always said that it is fine if you, for whatever reason, decide to use technology in the class. And today I am actually using technology to record the opening of our American government class, which happens to be meeting on the anniversary of 9/11, 20 years ago. Today, as we speak, the world was witnessing from the front row of political theater an attack on, well, global freedom, so to speak, because the 9/11 attack on America was not just an attack on America, it was an attack on humanity and on freedoms, and democracy, if you were. And of course, there are people who espouse more radical views as to why the attack was waged. And even the fundamental radicals themselves had their own idea as to why it is that the World Trade Centers were attacked. But in this class, and certainly not me, we are not about trying to assign blame. What we really would like to do is to put the bits and pieces together to give us a better understanding of what happened in America and in the world 20 years ago, because 2 billion people, 2/3 of the global population at the time, saw this thing happening in real time. I remember I was here already. Some of you may not have been born as yet. Well, I think quite a few of you were not yet born. But I was on my native island of Dominica, walking along Fields Lane when the first plane hit the first tower, about just before 9 in the morning. As I said, it's happening around the same time because our class here begins at 9:30. So this was in the meat of the activities. And I saw people looking, and this chatter became a bit louder, and I looked through, I think, the window of a travel agency. It was Paz Travel, I think, at the time. And I saw what was happening, and I'm like, is this a movie? And then it looked real, and then it was real, and this thing unfolded. So the world observed what was happening. And the tragedy of 9/11 is not an American tragedy, it's a humanitarian tragedy. And it's a history lesson as well, because it opens us up to new ways of seeing global issues, global conflicts, of reacting to different cultures, and probably understanding how crucial it is for us to coexist as a people. Again, this is a government class, and this topic is as topical as it gets. But it can also be a vexing topic because different people have different views on the topic. All I would like to say, before we get into the real details of today's discussion, which is the continuation of chapter 1, which we started 2 weeks ago. We had our Labor Day holiday on the weekend, and so we missed a week. So we're going to complete chapter 1, which is peoples and citizenship, and we're going to get into the founding of the American government. So we're going to be dealing with the second half of the first chapter and the second chapter today, and get you ready for the first quiz in this course next week, if we get through to where we would like to get through today. But I had to, because of the importance and the significance of the moment, to deal with a bit of the 9/11 scenario. As you can see, I didn't present any burning building here for you today. I just put up the memorial, which is where we are today. We can talk about the past and not necessarily unearthing all the pains of the past. But it's important for you as students, as Americans, to understand what happened before you were born, and long before you were born. That's what this class is about. That is why we're doing the American government class. That's why it's a compulsory class, or it's a prerequisite, if you prefer that. You do not get a degree in the state of Florida if you do not take this class. So there's a method behind requiring that you take this course. And I would like to add with me, because I think based on students' reports of having taken the class with me, you get a really good experience from my class. So I hope you didn't mind that I digressed a bit. Well, if you want to call it digressing. But it would be remiss of me not to have dealt with this 9/11 fiasco catastrophe. I mean, can we find some greater adjectives to describe the 9/11 issue? It is part of the American history, part of the global history, part of our reality, something that we should speak about. In terms, in ways, in manners, which glorifies the life of the people that were lost on 9/11. And not necessarily demonize the people who did it, although the act would have to be demonic, if you ask me. But at least to understand, because 9/11 didn't happen or begin on 9/11. It began a long time ago in terms of the international relations, the different interventions, East versus West. This is not a history class, so we don't have to get into that. But the history of the relations of the peoples and America's intervention in global spaces and vice versa gave us what is now 9/11. And I would like to leave it there for now, and just to say that why the 9/11 memorial has been so widely memorialized is because most people around the world at the time saw it happening in real time. So it is even more impacting than even World War II, because World War II happened in the 40s, and the population as we know it did not experience it in real time, because it was not in our time. It happened before my time. No one here in this class was here during World War II. But we were not all here too for the 9/11. But most people in the world, 2/3 of the global population saw it. So that's the difference. Nobody's forgetting slavery, forgetting World War I and II. No. It is just that more people globally shared the experience, and as such, it is passed on to more people in the same dramatic way. So nobody is trying to promote 9/11 as the biggest atrocity, although it was a major one. And I'm saying this to try to explain why is it that with every passing year, this memorial becomes so much more important. In this class, in other classes, I think it is incumbent on professors to responsibly mark the moment. So I grieve for those of you who know people and who may have had family members who succumbed or who met with their mortal demise. 9/11. For those of us who are around, especially those people who are interested in academia, in understanding the systems, especially the American government, would be best served to do the best we can to understand the most we can about this tragedy. So that's my little spill before we get into discussing the pages of our text. And I'm happy that you could bear me out a bit as we discussed it. I'm going to turn off my device because I actually recorded the little intro. I may publish it or whatever it is, but it is just too significant a moment, which is happening at the time that we are meeting, discussing the government of America, for me not to have had at least capture the moment. All right, so I'm going to get rid of my audience here so we can continue having fun in this close-knit, protected community of our American government class, POS 1041 at Palm Beach State Gardens campus. Well, Palm Beach State College Gardens campus. All right, guys, so let me do that and then we'll continue to have fun.